Wonderful. It is now 11 a.m. Welcome to everyone who is joining us. I'm just a background noise today. Sari, you take it away.
Thank you, Brunilda. I'm Sari, CEO and founder of Passages of Distinction, and Brunilda has been doing an excellent job. We've had a series. This is our fourth Travel Scope webinar over the past 2 weeks, and we hope to do more in the future. But I know many of you have been on several others, and this one looks to be very exciting. The topic today is about leopards, and of course, when people go to India, they love to see the leopards. And so first, I just want to let you know we have a few housekeeping rules or housekeeping items. So we will be muting everybody, so as you can hear everybody perfectly, and then we will handle questions and answers at the end. We'll try to address all of your questions, so please feel free to go there, and that's located on the top of your screen. You can put your questions in there and we will answer those later. Feel free to go to the chat at any time, and we'll address those whether during or afterward. And then I will introduce everybody and we'll get started. Let's see, I think that's about it. So I would like to first introduce a longtime client, and many of you know Mohan, the Managing Director of Travel Scope India. So he is the one behind all of these interviews. And today we have a special guest, Shatrunjay, who is from the owner of the Bera Safari Lodge, and he is the one who has created an amazing well, he's actually saved and sheltered leopards. So he's going to tell us all about his fabulous story. And as well today, we have Shobha Mohan, who is the owner of founder and or partner, sorry, of Rare India. It's a marketing and communications company in India that handles some very special and some of the finest boutique hotels around India. So we have three very special people on the panel, and I will also be disappearing and coming back later to handle any questions and answers. So we're delighted to have you all here, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sari. Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. Our special guest today is Shatrunjay Singh from Rajasthan. As we all know, Rajasthan is one of the most visited travel destinations in India. And like all our other guests in the series of virtual interactions, Shatrunjay has also undergone a transformation in his career. He has a degree in viticulture from UC Davis, California, and has worked in the wine industry as a consultant, wine industry in India as a consultant. But life had other plans for him, I suppose. And it brought him to Bera in Rajasthan, where he had been as a child. But he spent about 5 years, scanning every hill to identify the leopards and the unique wildlife of this habitat. He also engaged with the locals to learn how they coexisted with the wildlife here. But he also saw the dangers of a depleting habitat due to extensive mining in the area. He took on the mining mafia and engaged them in a legal battle, and eventually came out victorious. And he had all their mining contracts revoked, actually. He has been a savior for both the leopards and the shepherds of Bera and Javai. Owing mainly to his efforts, the region of Bera and Javai has retained its thriving population of leopards that peacefully coexist with the shepherds of the Rabari community. We will know more about Shatrunjay and his initiatives during our conversation. But before we start our conversation with him, we want to play a short video. It's actually the teaser of a Nat Geo documentary called The Big Cats of India. Shatrunjay was part of the filming team with Nat Geo and provided some exclusive footage in the making of this documentary, which features Bera in the leopard section. So whenever you get time, please look for this Nat Geo documentary and watch it. It's a wonderful documentary. It's called The Big Cats of India. So we'll now play the short teaser video for you. Brunilda, if you could just play the video. Thank you.
Ugh.
Thank you, Brunilda. And if you could, yes, thank you so much. So, Shatrunjay, would you like to say hello to our guests today?
Hello, good morning, everybody. Greetings from India.
Thank you. So we're bringing Shatrunjay to you live from Bera in Rajasthan. It's a very remote area. Just a couple of days ago, there was a storm there, because of which the internet connections have been a little iffy. But well, we are hoping that we'll have Shatrunjay stay on for the entire part of the event. So Shatrunjay, let's start now. So from viticulture to wildlife conservation, it's been a long journey for you. Would you like to please tell our guests a little bit of how you accomplished this?
Yes, Mohan, so it's been a long journey and a very interesting journey from making wines to chasing leopards now. But that's the better part that I enjoy, is looking for leopards. It's been a really long journey. As a matter of fact, I've always been interested in wildlife. And this was a time when I got an opportunity to work in Bera. I've been seeing leopards in this area since my childhood. So as the opportunity came, I came for it.
Excellent. Yeah, and I still remember that wonderful event that you did for us in Karoli, where you did that wine tasting for our cycling group. But that was also an amazing experience for us. So, okay, we'll move on. And I wanted to ask you something about the unique habitat of Bera and Javai, and what fascinates you about this region. I mean, it fascinates me whenever I look at those mountains. It's like, an amazing feeling. So tell me a little bit about how do you feel about this place?
You see this Bera, Javai, this landscape and the habitat, everything fascinates me about this landscape. This is basically in southwest of Rajasthan. This area is known as the Godwar region of Rajasthan. We are right in the middle of the Aravalli range, and the Aravalli range is the oldest mountain range in the world. It's older than the Himalayas. So the habitat is beautiful. The area has these volcanic rocks, as you can see in this picture. The millions of years back, these were volcanic rocks, and when the volcano erupted, they formed these beautiful shapes. And over the years, with erosions of water and wind, it's created a beautiful habitat. Also, we have like in this picture, this is of Javai Dam. This is the largest western dam of Rajasthan. This was built by Maharaja Umed Singh Ji in 1957. The main purpose to build this dam was to supply drinking water to Jodhpur and Pali district. And not only this dam supplies drinking water, also this attracts a lot of migratory birds from different parts of the world. We have over 250 species of birds here. The like the gentleman that you see standing in the picture, that's a Rabari community person. They are also known as Devasis. The entire story here is all about the leopards and shepherds.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fascinating habitat. I still remember the first time I went there with Shobha and the girls, and we actually got lost, and it was a good way of losing yourself because we were just driving around that beautiful habitat and enjoying it. So moving on, I just want to ask you, Shatrunjay, do you think that the story of Bera could have been different today if you had not taken on the mining mafia? Tell us a little bit about what motivated you to take this bold step, and how did it all happen?
So this Bera Jamai region had always been very close to my heart. Like I mentioned, I've been coming here since my childhood. I still remember seeing my first leopard in the area when I was just about 7, 8 years old. That memory really fresh, and it's like yesterday. It's still so fresh. While working in the wine industry, every time we had an annual leave, in my annual leave, my parents, we all come to my farm. It's an ancestral property which is about 20 kilometers from here. And whenever we were there were for entertainment. There were no internets and stuff during that time in that area. So we always used to come to Bera to look for leopards, to photograph leopards. And while it was just one evening drive, we were here looking for leopards, trying to photograph them. And suddenly we heard a loud blast, and that was really unusual. I never heard such a noise in this part of the area. And after hearing that noise, I inquired from the locals that what's going on. And I was informed that the government has allotted some mining leases. And after 1 or 2 days, while going to Jaipur on the way, I went to the mining office, which comes on the way in our district headquarters. And I was informed that the government has allotted 11 granite mines and 144 are going to be allotted in the pipeline. And that really upsetted me. My heart really sank. I spoke to a lot of local people here, the local families also in the area, that they need to do something, and nobody was taking any keen interest. And that's the time I decided to quit my job and come in this area and fight the mining. That's when I got with the forest department. We did a PIL in the Jodhpur High Court. We had to fight the battle for 3 years, and finally we won the court cases. And all the mines, all these 144 mines were terminated by the government. And this is for the first time, not only in Rajasthan, but in India. After 144 mines being allotted, all these 144 mines are being cancelled.
Oh, that's a great story. That's a great initiative. I mean, I must say, and I think everybody who goes to Bera and Jawai, I think, we are really, I think, indebted to you in some ways, that we still have that beautiful habitat, and and we experience this wonderful activities that there. So moving on, I just want to ask you one question, which is about the leopard itself. So, is there an interesting characteristic of the leopards that you'd like to share with our guests? Something that kind of I would say appeals to you or fascinates you about the leopards?
Well, everything about leopards. I love leopards, everything about them. If you see, leopards are such fascinating animals. They are found everywhere, from the African jungles to the deserts of Arabia to the snowy peaks of Russia. When it comes to India, the farmlands here in India, the outskirts of city in India, they are always there, but it's always difficult to see them. There is a saying here in our part of the country that once you've seen the leopard has seen you 100 times. They're always there, but it's always difficult to see them. But what I really like about them in our part of the area is if the rest of India, there's always some conflict with leopards, like reading different news. But here we've not had any human-leopard conflict in the area. The entire story here is all about the coexistence of humans and leopards living together in peaceful harmony without any conflict. I'll tell you an incident while filming for my recent documentary, Wildcats of India. There was one incident while I was filming, and every time you film a leopard, it's not that we randomly film any leopard. We have to choose one subject, one family, and then for how long, maybe for next 365 days, we have to stick to that particular individual. We don't film any other. And as the time passes, you start thinking, okay, now I've understood this animal's behavior well, I've understood this family well, but every time you think that you know the leopard, every time, I mean, they are so smart, they are so elusive that every time it surprises you. I'll tell you an incident. While filming this leopard, I was down on the ground. There was a cave about 30, 40 feet above me. And there was an opening. We'd seen the leopard get inside in the morning. And I knew the leopard would come out in the evening from that cave. And about another 20, 25 feet above the cave, there's a tree, there were monkeys sitting. And as soon as I reached, within 5 minutes, they started giving alarm calls. So I knew that the leopard is out. But from my angle, I could not see the leopard because the leopard was above me and the monkeys were above the leopard. So the monkeys had a view to see the leopards. So I got my camera, everything ready, everything was rolling. I wanted that sequence of the leopard coming out of the cave and walking down the hill. And 15 minutes, 20 minutes happen, and we all film on 4K. So the battery dies up really fast. They drain out really fast. So as 20 minutes, that deadline was getting closer, I opened my car door, which was standing right next to me, got the battery out, and as soon as I shut the door made a noise, and 15 feet from me on my left, from the dried grass, the leopard woke up. And that really surprised me. The monkeys were actually watching him down and giving him alarm calls. So that's how elusive and secretive these animals are.
Yeah, and even if you looked at the previous picture, the one before this, there is a small shrine and there is a leopard on top of the rock, just above the shrine. So even if somebody was sitting and praying, in that shrine, they wouldn't know that actually there is a leopard just standing on the, sitting on that rock. So there's another picture of yours which is even more amazing. There's a priest who's standing there, and he's unable to see the leopard. And, that's a little anyway. So yeah, these are, I think, some of the amazing experiences. Shatrunjay, now many of our guests on the webinar today are travel designers who sell wildlife experiences to India, including tiger safaris. Would you like to tell our guests how different the safari experience in Bera is when you compare it with a national park in India?
The safari experience here compared to a national park is totally opposite. First thing, we are not a national park, we are not a sanctuary. This area is declared as a Jamai Leopard Conservation Reserve in 2002. So we are a conservation reserve. So which means, like, if you go to a national park, there are certain zones allotted to you, certain timing allotted to you. We have no such rules here. There are no zones, no timings. You can go anytime. A lot of times in winters, early morning, the leopard gets inside the cave. Our trackers are out, the farmers are out in the field, they come out for the winter sun. We get a call, so you can go immediately leave and see the leopard. It's open throughout, and also it's open throughout the year. Other national parks closes in monsoons, but we are also open in monsoons. And there are a lot of times when you can see the leopard straight from the lodge. They come up for the winter sun and they are out. There have been many incidents when you can see the leopard straight from your room windows.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll talk a little bit about that a little later. But I want to tell all our guests today that, the viewing experience is also very different when you compare it with a national park. Sometimes the views are distant, so you're able to look through very powerful scopes. But sometimes you can, like Shatrunjay said, from the lodge itself, if he sets up a scope, you can see the leopard from there. But what the fascinating part about it is the amazing spotters that he has. And I don't know how they spot. From his lodge, they can actually point out to a leopard, and he sets up the scope, and then you actually end up seeing a leopard from there. So yeah, that's really an amazing experience. So yeah, now I would like to talk a little bit about that wonderful experience that we had, Shatrunjay, if you remember, of the eagle owl taking off and hitting the leopard on its head. So I want Brilda to play that video quickly, and then we'll talk about it. Can you have some volume, please? Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that was one of the most amazing experiences that I've ever had, in my visits to not just to Bera, but anywhere, And Shatrunjay, I think you should talk about it. And all I can say is that we had to trek with all this heavy equipment, set it up in one place, and wait for this leopard to come, which eventually it came. But I'll let Shatrunjay tell the rest of the story.
Well, I clearly remember that freezing morning. We all woke up early and left. It was dark that time, and I still remember I was filming for this Nat Geo Wildcat series. So all my equipment was there on my tripod, lenses, different cameras. So everything had to be carried on top. And it was a struggle in that darkness, reaching on top of that hill with all that kind of equipment. And also at the same time being very quiet. And we were just hoping. We never knew that the leopard is going to come here. We had no idea. And I remember after setting up all the equipment, we were waiting. The dawn was coming up. We'd already spent almost 40-45 minutes. And you kept asking me, Shatrunjay, are you sure is the leopard going to come here? Shatrunjay, are you sure is the leopard going to come here? And I remember why, and immediately after the third or the fourth time, once you said, "Are you sure we are going to have a sighting?" Suddenly, just after that, I saw the leopard over the skyline, and I tapped on your shoulder that monster, it's come. And that's when I turned on my camera rolling. I was lucky that everything was the shutter, everything was right, exact, and then out of a surprise, this Indian eagle owl comes, hits the head, and flies back. And that leopard was furious. I mean, he was. Did you see the reaction? All his canines out, and that was one of the. I mean, that's one of my greatest sequences that I've filmed, and the most liked sequence that I've filmed. And I still remember it all happened in a matter of seconds, and I was not sure about what we've not got. And I remember all of us sitting for breakfast. You told me, Shatrunjay, why don't you download what you got on your card and let's see it, what we've got. And that's when I got everything on the SD card, and we played it on the laptop. And that's when we all were like totally surprised.
It was amazing. I mean, I knew that there was some action that happened because I saw the owl taking off, but only when we looked at, into that on your laptop, actually, only then we realized actually what we had captured on the camera. It was amazing. And when I saw the teaser of the Nat Geo documentary, I mean, I was like a kid. I said, "Hey, I have seen that. I was there when this was filmed."
You've seen it live. You've seen it live.
It was such a thrilling experience. Okay, so Shobha has been in the waiting room for some time now. I think I'd like to get her also to come and speak to us a little bit. So. So one of the things that fascinates me is how the locals have never harmed, the wildlife, particularly the leopards, because the leopards have a tendency to come and take their livestock, but yet they have kind of peacefully coexisted. So can you tell us a little bit about what makes Bera so different when you care about these conflicts? A little bit about that. Shatrunjay, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, Mohan sir. Shobha ma'am, would you take on that? The voice is breaking here.
Can you?
Okay.
Shobha, can you come online?
Yeah, yeah. I am. Hello, everybody. I'm actually the 12th man here, and so I've been waiting just in case for emergencies like this. I'm supposed to pitch in, and very happy to do that. I mean, we promote a lot of lodges, and what's different about the people of Bera is that there is like a very natural synergy between the shepherds and the leopards, and I always believe that the hero of this story, of the Javai story, as a conservancy and also as a tourist destination, the hero of this is most definitely the Raikas or the Rabadis or the shepherds who are herdsmen. The difference, the beauty of this is that the myth, there are a lot of myths and a lot of beliefs around this, and I believe it goes back several hundred years, a couple of hundred years, where the Rabadis, who are shepherds and herdsmen, are actually vegetarians, and they live, and their livelihood is livestock, cattle, goats. They also pray to Lord Shiva. And the story goes that as Shiva, as a kilt, he wears a leopard skin while he seats himself on a tiger skin when he is meditating. The Rabadis actually feel it's a privilege for them to protect the leopards that are there, right? So when the first settlement of leopards came in, it kind of became their it became their belief that the god has blessed them with the population of leopards, and very naturally they kind of integrated with the habitat of the leopards. In other areas, you will actually listen to a lot of revenge killing, right? Because if the livestock is attacked, it is of course their livelihood. But in here, they actually take it as a blessing that one of their livestock has been taken up by the leopard. They actually feel privileged. They feel privileged that the leopard has decided to take a livestock, to take a goat or a sheep from their stock. So that's what it is. That's the entire story of the. And I also believe religion and faith plays a big role in conservation, and that's the magic of India.
And Shatrunjay, if I understood correctly, the government does pay them a compensation if the leopard comes and takes one of their, livestock animals. But is that something? Would you like to share a little bit on that?
There is, he isn't. I don't see him here. There is compensation. Compensation has started to happen in the recent times. But we are talking about 100 years, and in those days there was no compensation. And irrespective of the compensation, they are okay with it. They're okay with the leopard coming and taking up one of their stock. So that's all right.
Thank you, Shobha.
I'm also connected.
Yeah, there he is.
You're connected. Okay. Shobha, would you like to also tell us a little bit about the Bera Safari Lodge? Just describe a little bit. And we see this wonderful picture of the surroundings of Bera Safari Lodge. You can see how beautiful it is. But tell us a little bit about the lodge, please.
So one of my favorite lodges, where and of course people like Shatrunjay really work towards the entire concept of tourism, that believes that the benefits of tourism should first positively impact the community and also the destination. I mean, this is one of those places. This is not a very recent picture because it's much more greener now. But in the initial days, there's just about 5 cottages, and the center is a large dining area. The way the cottages have been built up, of course, a lot of space between each one of them, and that hillock that you see just behind is the famous Liloda Hill, which is where a lot of the leopard sightings are, and a lot of shots have been taken on that particular hill. The way the lodge is structured, that all the windows, which are huge windows, they're all focused towards the Liloda Hill. And otherwise, it's like a general wilderness where these cottages are situated. The beauty of Bera Safari Lodge, it is 100% community operated. What that means is the local Rabadi community has been integrated into running the property, including them in training for hospitality purposes. And they are there in their original form, even their original clothing. I mean, the original costume that they wear in their everyday life, that is what they wear when they are serving you. And also some of their own inherent skills around people and things like that, it becomes a part of the Bera Safari Lodge story. And of course, because it is run by Shatrunjay and his wife, the food is very, very natural from the organic farms around, and also very home cooked and very, very simple cuisine that is offered here. The other beautiful thing about Bera Safari Lodge, which is what gets people to come and stay here, is that Shatrunjay is genuinely interested in keeping the community and the sanctity of the destination together, and it's very evident in whatever he does. 11 acres, lot of farming around, not very far from where the leopard sightings are. Has great relationships with the community. You can actually he's in fact organized several activities that involve the shepherds and the local community around with you. So when you're there, you're actually looking at a conservation initiative that really pulls in all these things together, including protecting the leopards and the habitat.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. In fact, Shobha, you touched upon a lot of the points that was part of my next question. I think you covered it all, but I'd still like to ask Shatrunjay, would you like to add anything more to some of the best practices that you have adopted in operating Bera Safari Lodge as a commercial enterprise, Shatrunjay?
Mohan sir, main thing is, first thing, we are totally plastic free lodge. We have no plastic bottles, nothing to do with plastic. There's no plastic in the lodge. We don't use any plastic things. The other thing what I wanted to raise was that no conservation can happen without responsible commercialization. There has to be some commercialization to get conservation done. If they were like, we are there are other lodges also here. Look at Ranthambore till the time, if tourism is not there, again, with tourism, lodge, I've been focusing on responsibly. They should be managing that. Employment to the local communities given. People have now, all the local community, they've learned, they've trained, all of them used to go out to work in different big cities. Now they've started getting employment here. At the same time, they have also got more involved with conservation-based programs. So I have started protecting the leopard much more than what they used to be doing that. They become very responsible in a lot of things. Like I see my villages around me, most of them, they are clean. They were not as clean what they are now. They never used to be as clean, but all these villagers have started getting cautious about healthcare, about their surrounding places to be clean. There are a lot of things.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good. That's good to hear. Yeah.
The other thing I'd like to add is, there are naturalists, and there are great people who can show you around Javai, around Bera. But to have Shatrunjay actually accompany you on one of your safaris and to explain, the land, its people, the conservation efforts, and also the life and times of a leopard is something spectacular.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Absolutely. Yeah, I'd like to take this opportunity to run through some really some of my own pictures of my trips to Bera. If Brilda, if it's possible, if you could just bring that quick that PPT up, we'll just run through those images. Won't take much time, then
that will take me a second to set up. If you
no, I'll keep talking. I'll keep talking.
Yeah. Oh, great.
So yeah, I mean, touching upon the subject of faith, uh, I think today, my prayers were really answered because I was praying, and all of us actually, not just me and Shatrunjay and me and Shobha, Prarona and Manik, all of us, we were just hoping that the internet at Bera would work and we will have Shatrunjay live for the entire duration of the conversation, and I think our prayers are answered. So yeah, I think Lord Shiva was with us today, Shatrunjay. Is that something have you ever?
100% Mohan sir, and I made a wish as soon as in the morning. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up, go join my hands on that hill, on that temple, and thank God that everything. I mean, this is for the first time that my internet has been running stable.
Okay, that's good. Good. Excellent. And while Brunilda brings up that PPT, just a few images. That's all, just for people to get a little sense of the so that we don't waste much time. Oh, Brunilda just yeah. Okay, there you go. So we could just kind of. So that's that's the Jawai, what do you call, water body, and with the lovely hills in the background. And let's move on and the next one. That's a Rabadi, herdsman, the shepherd. They wear this beautiful crimson red turbans, and they always carry the stick with them, and they wear white outfits and the red turban, and they're with the sheep or the goats. It's an amazing sight to see. We'll move on to the next one. That's a little bit of the landscape. As you can see, the jeep, and this is again, these are all water bodies, different water bodies out there. Look at the reflection of the tree and the water. It's amazing and winter time is amazing when you go there. Yeah, we can move to the next one. I think we saw this. And beautiful sunsets, amazing. You just drive up on these rocks, just sit there, enjoy a beautiful cup of, tea or coffee, and then we watch this beautiful sunset. Look at the size of that sun. And yes, of course, Nat Geo and Shatrunjay have been working very closely, and Shatrunjay has been filming for them, very regularly, and providing some amazing footage for their documentaries. Yeah, so yeah, I thought I'll just run through these images, and these are of course these are cows, of course. These are Rabadi herdsmen. This is a woman from the Rabadi community with all these beautiful bangles, and of course, if you're an animal lover, you will never miss out on picking up one of those goats. And that's. Yeah, thank you so much, and we'll take questions now. Terry is asking, when are we going? Whenever we are ready. I think Colin had a question about the number of leopards. So could you just give us a little sense of the number of leopards in the Bera area?
We have 50 plus leopards in the area. This is about, and it's got the one of the highest densities of leopard population in the world.
Okay.
And the area I'm talking about is about 50 square kilometers.
Okay. And obviously there is no problem of poaching here, right?
No, 0 cases of poaching.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, that's a question that I saw. So I asked if there's any other questions, either on the chat or if anybody has a question, we're happy to answer, either me or Shatrunjay.
There was another, actually, I couldn't get on a minute ago, but there was another question. Did we already do the head count of the leopards?
Yes, he said 50.
Okay. Okay, and then there was let's see. And how do you reach Bera? That's a question that we have.
Shobha, would like to do?
So Bera sits, am I?
Yes.
Yeah, Bera sits very comfortably between Jodhpur and Udaipur. So almost equidistant, about 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours from Jodhpur or 2.5 hours from Udaipur. And also from Jaipur, it's not far away. Connects with a lot of our rare hotels, like from Shahpura Bagh, you can do Chanodgarh to Bera. Very, very easy driving distances, 3 to 4 hours at best, right, Shatrunjay Bana?
Absolutely.
And Jaipur would be approximately 5 to 6 hours. Yeah.
The closest airports are Udaipur and Jodhpur, 2.5 hours from either of these cities, and you're in Bera. Beautiful drive. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes.
Somebody wanted to know. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So, what is the sighting like in monsoon? Julie's asking that.
Well, sightings are always good in this part of the area. In monsoons, it gets little difficult because the green vegetation is denser compared to summers and compared to winters. And but the sightings are 365 days. In the monsoon, you get a different picture altogether. In summers and in winters, you get a dry, arid background with granite hills. It's good to photograph in. I enjoy photographing in monsoons because everything is green and that black boulder bulging out, and you get a different landscape altogether.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, great. So they're interested in continuing the efforts of conservation.
Yes, a lot of them. I see a lot of them involved. We keep taking in the time when there are no guests here, we involve a lot of children. In fact, I have 2 twins who are 5 years old. So they have a big gang of 25, 30 children here. And every time the day there are no guests, they've been doing safaris. We have few point and shoot cameras for our guests. We give them. They're all interested in photographing. And I see my tracker's daughter, who's about 12 years old, to be the next filmmaker, the local filmmaker in the area. She knows how to handle the tripod really well. Her hand is very smooth. So yes, definitely.
Wonderful.
Hey, that's good.
As you were talking about the leopards, I was thinking you're a bit of a leopard whisperer, I think.
Yeah. So okay.
So let's see. I think have we addressed all the questions? Let's see.
There's a question from Hope.
Let's see. Let me just see here. Why am I not seeing? Oh, wait.
She has a question.
Let's see. Why do I not see it here? Can you see that, Shobha? Or
I can see the question. Hi, everybody. I'm Brunilda. I'll just step in. Hope rose her hand. Hope, if you're still there, do you have a question for us? It appears that she does not.
In fact, I could see one question sometime back. Somebody had asked, is there any black panthers in the area?
We also have a question from AJ, it appears. Oh, are there any black panthers? That's what her question is.
Yes.
yes.
Beautiful, beautiful.
We don't have any black panthers in the area. Black panthers are generally found in rainforest, which Northeast India and South India. You see them in Northeast India, and in South India, the best place to see black panthers in India is Kabini National Park.
Right. Right. There's one question, I think that as from Colin would say, I can see that on the screen, as there is no control on traversing rights in the area and with many camps now running, safaris for locals, are the cats getting skittish to vehicles and people?
No, they are not. You see, unlike the national parks, where if you go to a national park, the tigers, everything, they're all on the ground next to you at the same eye level. Here, all the leopards are on top of a hill, so they are much above you. You watch them from down. And leopards are nocturnal animals. They are not active during the daytime, at least in this part of the area, because this is human habitated landscape. which means in the daytime, they're all up on the hills. And in the evening, dawn and dusk, that's the time we see them. As soon as it gets dark, that's the time they come down from the hill. That's the time they are close to the vehicles at close distances. And once it's dark, we all leave the leopards alone.
Excellent, excellent. So I think that answers all the questions. And yeah, I mean, it was great. Thank you so much, Shatrunjay, and thank you so much, Shobha, for being part of this evening. You want to say something?
No, Dada, you'd like to talk about the birding in Jawai, especially in monsoons?
Yes, Jawai again, as it's under Jawai Leopard Conservation Reserve, like I said, is the largest western dam of Rajasthan. In winters, it attracts, in fact, acts like a magnet to a lot of migratory birds. We have more than 250 species of birds coming here, not only for if somebody is not only interested in leopards, birding is also an option. Morning, evening, dawn and dusk time, that's the time you could do your leopards. Daytime when you're free, you can spend entire day doing birding, photographing birds. Also crocodiles, we have more than 300 plus crocodiles in the lake.
Thank you so much. So yeah, there's an amazing variety of wildlife. I mean, of course, leopards is the attraction, but then there's a lot of other wildlife, including birds. So thank you so much, Sari. For
our pleasure. Thank you
like,
for being with us.
You want to wrap it up for this evening, and then yeah, I mean, all I would like to thank everyone for joining. These were our first event, so we'd not done these events before. So please do pardon us if we went wrong somewhere, but we'd like to we'll improvise in future. We'll bring more events next month. We'll keep you updated. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for joining.